Hello Aquarius, and welcome to your weekly reading here on the Astroflower channel. We're just going to jump straight in there, and we're going to have this video actually in two parts. There's going to be a clarification according to the Astroflower elements, and in the second part we're going to be using the old travel pack and clarifying with the little cards. So, the travel pack. Okay, so I just thought I'd tell you that. Let's move straight on and let's start putting some of your cards. So this is on the spiritual sort of side of life. So a little bit of a mixed message at the beginning, got to be said. Let's see what's going on here. Goes over there. Let's just pull these things out. Actually, it's not looking too bad. It's looking really quite good for you. It's getting better and better all the time, Aquarius. You're getting all the good cards. Are you going to get all the good cards where all the other signs can't? That's the funny thing. And the Hermit comes up. So, this is your spiritual side, and this is your material side. This is what the universe is trying to influence, karmic paths. The messages from your guides on your karmic path, and trying to elucidate your karmic path and get that sort of sorted so you know where you're going. They do help out. And then there's these guides up here that help with the with that internal conversation. And we have the final thing. So it looks, as an overall view, it looks brilliant. I'm trying to keep it clean for YouTube. It looks really good, yeah. There is a bit of a situation going on with your karmic path, with your guides of your karmic path and your guides. So there's definitely a bit of work going on there on the spiritual front. But if you can elucidate this and find out what is really sort of ticking for you, it would be really easy to turn this into a win. And I don't know if it was your sign that I talked about sort of, now is the time to do wishes. That could well be the case still within this month, within this week, certainly. So you get your Lover's card that comes up first of all. I don't know, I guess we'll do it like that. And you can see on there. So you got the Lover's card that's coming up. So the universe is trying to encourage you to. Now this could be obviously this could be speaking to people who are looking for relationships. The universe here is trying to encourage you to get out there and get involved. No one is perfect. I'm not perfect, you're not perfect, no one's perfect. So let's just get over that aspect straight away. And in that imperfection, we find the beauty and the art and the comedy and everything like that. So when you start in a relationship with someone, understand that they are not exactly what you are looking for. Regardless. Even if it's a twin flame or, soul union, there will always be some sort of imperfection. They could be minute, yeah? And it's just a case of you've got to get involved in order to know if that works for you. So the universe is trying to encourage you, or for all those people who are looking for love, encourage you to actually get involved with the thing. Go out, ask someone out on a date. Say, hey, what are you doing? Fancy going for a cup of coffee? Keep it very relaxed by the looks of things. Rather than kind of going, do you want to be my partner? So, just keep it very low key, Aquarius. It should be pretty good, because on your karmic path, you have the 8 of Swords. Is it the 8 of Swords? Yes, it is. Sorry. The 8 of Swords. So you may feel like on the emotional sort of side of life, you're feeling a little bit trapped and everything like that. So for those people who are looking for love, as I say, perfection doesn't exist. And you've got to start somewhere, and we're all on a learning curve that people can, your future partner could help you to learn things, and you can help your future partner to learn things. And that could be the process of finding that perfection. Because perfection really comes over time when you start to really know someone, So that's for people who are looking for love. We're coming up to Valentine's Day, that sort of thing. It could be good for you. So, but for those of you who are already in relationships and quite happy with your relationships, I think this is a case of falling in love with oneself in order to free yourself up so you can actually explore your relationship further. So if you've been in a long-term relationship, we all know, for those of us who have been in very long-term relationships, it becomes routine. Yeah. So maybe it's a case of mixing up the routine, because that's what you may feel trapped a little bit with that 8 of Swords. Yeah. This could also apply to the community, but I don't think so. I think this is mainly to do with personal level. Yeah. And so when you get those sort of routines, it's sort of mix it up. And the reason I say this is because just above you have that 8 of Swords. 8 of Swords. The 8 of Pentacles. So you've got 2 8s running across it. Yeah, nice numbers. 8s, very solid. 2 squares. Very good. Octagon, very good in energetically speaking for sort of blocking the vibrations. And this is why you may feel a bit trapped. If you're single and you're looking for a relationship, this is what you've got to work on. You've got to work on the idea of not necessarily putting that octagon down and putting like a hexagon or a pentagram down, like a 5. 5 is magic. And pentagram, hexagram, sorry. Even a pentagram is brilliant. That's liberation. That's freedom. That's pretty much, it's like judgment. But if you lay down like a hexagon, which is, a hexagon is a 6-sided, like the Star of David in a way. I mean, it's equivalent of the yin and the yang. So what you're trying to do here is actually put yourself in a position where you can work on one side, which can encourage the other. And that's with a partner. Yeah. And if you're going into a relationship, go into the idea that your partner's going to bring, or this person you want to get involved with, is going to bring you things to make that hexagon. And then that hexagon makes for a very magical situation with the 2 triangles. So it's 2 times 3, which is very earthy. It's all to do with the earth vibration and stuff like that. So there is work to be done, and your guides are trying to encourage that within you. As you do go up through it and go forward in the week, if you work on that side of things and allow space, not only in your life, but in the life of the people around you, your loved ones, you could really start kind of opening doors to wishes. You could really start opening the idea that, now I've worked on that side and I don't have to worry about it. It's create that space where I wish we could do this activity together. I wish we could go to this place together. I wish we could go to see this film together. And that's going to sort of encourage that to come through you during the week. So by the end of the week, if you've really, by the beginning of the week, if you've done this work and then get over that fear of asking someone to come for a coffee or inventing new things within your relationship, you will be able to then wish for more. And I think your partner will be up for this, because at the end of the day, it all comes out. The combining story is the, wishes from a universe. It's all about, you have that capacity and it has to come from within you, which is all to do with that Hermit card. Yeah. So let's talk about that's on the spiritual sort of side. It's very much one-to-one this week by the looks of it, rather than a group one. But it's work and you can do. That's what your guides are sort of telling you. It's sort of like kind of going, it's almost sort of saying, to stick an old politician's phrase on it, it's awful, but, back to basics. I don't want to build back better. I'm not that way inclined, but I'm not also back to basics. I don't like politics, basically. It does me in. So I'm not very good at politics. So yeah, so it's asking you to sort of say, already, and you are the one in a way that's blocking yourself. So Aquarius, sorry, get out of that notion and start using what you know and how you can do things to actually, opening up possible wishes for the future. Okay? On the physical side, on the material side, so this says you've got the Four of Wands. Now, the Four of Wands, people say, is sort of like a marriage, going through a portal, that sort of thing. Yeah. It's also a very constant, because you've got that square, as we were talking about earlier on. You've got that square, so it's a constant passion. So basically, it's sort of saying to you at the moment, stay sure and constant within the passion of how you put it into your material world. Now, this can be concerned with a business, job, or even projects of building stuff and stuff like that. So it's asking you to remain constant on the original idea and going through with it, going through with completion. That should be really good for you. Yeah. The universe here is trying to encourage you with that Queen of Swords to actually fix your cap like a boat. She's got that sword behind her, which she's using as a rudder, as her guide. And that is her mental side of life. And she's got the wind behind her. And she knows where she's going. She's sitting there sort of looking the direction she's going. And she's looking at this Four of Wands. And as she looks at that Four of Wands, if you know where you're going, you're going to have the universe at your back. Yeah, it might be trying as well. And the reason I say this is because you have the Strength card, which is just above it. I don't think it's a case of starting new projects and stuff like that. I think it's actually taking those projects that you should have already started, because we're going through your birthday period at the moment. You should be going on to being strength and strong about where you're going, and your guides are sort of encouraging you to stay strong to this path of the Four of Wands and staying certain within yourself. Yeah, that's what they're trying to encourage in your karmic path. So they're trying to keep you on focused on what the goals are of what you set out for to do. We get this reiterated in the King of Pentacles, sorry. Yeah, the King of Pentacles, if you look at the King of Pentacles, he's got all those books behind him. He's got, he's sitting squarely on his throne. He's also got that wolf pack with him. So it's like, out of knowledge comes the surety, not just for oneself, but for others. So, your guides are trying to encourage you to continue on that path, because not only is it going to be good for you, it's actually going to be good for your family, your friends, your community, your direct family, your wife and kids, or your husband and kid, or your partner and kid. It's gonna play to you perfectly. Yeah, and I think if you stick on that side, if you remain focused to yourself, this wishes for the universe, which comes out in the Nine of Cups, I think plays more into the spiritual side than anything else. Yeah. Okay, so let's just see which cards are playing according to the Astroflower. So you'll see your Astroflower here. You will be able to, I will provide a link below so you can actually go and see it, and I can pull it up on our website. And at the moment, we have had, coming from the sun, a filament eruption, which came through last night, which is emotional energies. If you haven't seen a little bit about what I do on Somatic TV, go to that. You'll understand a lot better. This filament energy, it erupted back on Tuesday, I think, and it arrived last night or Monday. It started on Monday and arrived last night. So that's gonna provoke a lot of your waters within you. Now, you have waters that are rising up through you in this sort of section here, coming round petal 2, but you've also got the Pisces, which is running through you here, and it's sort of saying to you there, and it's mutable. So it's an emotion that's got a lot of give. That can play both ways. You've also got that fixed emotion, which is at the base. And I think that fixed emotion, that's the thing that's tying into that Eight of Swords, which is forcing you into a situation, because then it becomes concrete after that, where you go into the cardinal earth of Capricorn, which flows through this section here. I think that Eight of Swords is all to do with how you fix your passions, because you have the cardinal fire coming up through you here. And if you can tame that passion in accordance to your emotions, so although they're both cardinal, there has to be a bit of give and take, a little bit of mutable sort of aspect to it within inside you. And it will help you sort of give you direction and passion for the direction that you're going in. And therefore, it will create that work. So with water and fire, which you've got in these two sections here, they tend to be a little bit explosive. You know, if you imagine, if you take something that's really hot and you chuck it into water, it tends to explode a little bit. So you can have that aspect of it, but you also can have that aspect of that your waters are warmed, so your emotions are warmed up like a nice Caribbean beach. So then when you're relaxed, you're a lot easier to get involved, easier to have fun, and etc. And I think that's what they're trying to encourage this side. So that here they're sort of saying on this side, and with the emotions that are coming through with the sun at the moment and pushing those aspects of it all, I think it's sort of saying on this side, you know, with your emotions, do not go into the extremes and just fall into the love of the moment. These, you know, the Lover cards is two people. It's not like the Two of Cups. That's different. That's someone on a journey. So Lover's card is falling in love with someone because you're with them at that moment. And that's what I'm sort of saying. It's sort of saying live that moment. And once you start living that moment, that work of what you've done over your entire life of emotions and relationships and stuff like that, well, then you'll start realizing that, you know, this tying up and feeling a little bit trapped is actually part of your own doing, where we put down, you know, too many barriers. You know, the Knight of Wands hasn't come up. We'll see if it comes up in the other video. So I think with the sun erupting as it is, it's going to make it easier on that emotions to tame that passion. So you won't be triggered so easily. It'd be more sort of just warming those waters. So this is a good time to strike out, as it were, emotionally, to actually start exploring your emotions without the fear of losing someone, or without being judged and everything like that. So I think that's sort of encouraging it on that side. You do have other waters around this section here, which is, you know, your own fixed water on that side, as much as it's on the other side here with the Lover's card. So on this side here, it's also sort of saying you have the capacity within yourself to emotionally be fixed on what you're doing. And on the inside, on the interior, you've got the fixed air. So this is what she's looking into. So she's saying in this card, be square and don't deviate from what you're doing, because that's what fixed energy is all about. They're very good at focusing on what they're doing and getting it done. So she's looking across, and this is where you get the mutable water as well from Pisces as it runs up through your cards here. And you have the mutable air. So although the universe is saying to stay fixed and stuff like that, obviously we live in the universe, but we're also living on this earth. So there is a bit of give and take. So it should make it a little bit more sort of fun and celebratory, your life going through here. Above that, we have this crossing of fire and air with water on the inside. And I think that water there is literally saying, okay, let's separate the spiritual side and work. And you could almost, if you tied it into this side, you could say that maybe this week, for those of you who are single, you do meet someone up who could be that wish come true and leads to marriage in the long run. And that may well be your goal at the moment, because that mutable water is coming through here. So then that separates this complete physical side, the material side, which allows you just to go home and do your work. In the middle of your petal, in the middle of your flower, you have the Hermit. Now the Hermit they've done a lot of work, the Hermit. They've walked up to the mountain, they got to the top of the mountain. And walking up to the top of the mountain is the idea that you're actually discovering a lot about yourself. And when you get to the top of the mountain, you can sit, meditate, and radiate that journey that you've done to get to the top of the mountain, which is then sharing it with everybody else. And I think, in a way, because it's within the center of you, it's actually sort of saying you're building that light there just as much as with the star. Your wishes will be building that knowledge and that understanding that you can share with people in the future. But for this week, it may be an understanding that you are having at this present time. And then you end up with that star and that light coming out, very much similar to what it was on the Hermit card, when it comes out of you, and you can deliver that to everybody else around you. So if we're just looking at the Astroflower at the moment, because there hasn't been a lot of solar flares as such, if there are solar flares during the week next week, you will be, it will start pushing those passions on that side. So keep an eye out on Cymatic TV to see if there's any solar flares coming up. I will be reporting pretty much every day now starting from next week. I've been traveling around, so it's been very difficult technically. But if that does come up, it really could push those passions. And it could be next week, depending on how the sun does it, it could invert it into a stage where it's much more sort of passionate. And if that is the case, then yeah, we probably are looking for some of you, not for all of you, but it could be a case of marriage or a renewal of your love or passion for your partner. That's what it could be. And this could encourage this bit here where you might have, if there is a lot of solar flares next week, you might have a situation where you are really busy and you've just got to be sure and solid with yourself so you can just progress and move on. If there's a lot of coronal holes, and there is one that's just coming through that's going to affect this weekend just prior to this coming week, it's gonna ask you to actually start putting things in place in your world. And it may be a case where if the coronal holes come in, that you will be able to do wishes for your physical aspect of your life, materially, sort of job, businesses, and etc. And this will feed into your emotional side of life, because it will give you that security that you actually need. Okay, so there you go, Aquarius. I will link the second video in the description below, where we will be going into all the clarifications, which will be coming out probably 2 days or a day after this video. So the link will be will be tagged in the comments section below. So please do click on it, and then you can see how we clarify with these cards. So in the meantime, Aquarius, don't forget, it should be fun, so please do enjoy.